Hey guys, so today we're going to be doing a market update video for Scarlet and Violet, looking at all the products and talking about which ones we should be investing in or have our eyes on for the future. So to begin with, Scarlet and Violet base set booster box. As you can see over the year, really hasn't done too much. Hit its low in December and it's been around $80, now up to around $90. This has also come in and out of stock on the Pokemon Center a couple times. I believe it's out of stock again, so this might be one to keep your eye on if you like buying into base sets. Obviously, I don't know. If you like it, fair enough. It's for you. It may get a reprint. It may not. No one really knows. So keep your eye on that. Obviously, the cards here, nothing super valuable. It's a base set. So you have the Miriam. You have the Gardevoir at $19. Nest Ball, Miraidon, Arven. So, nothing super deep here. I do like some of the artworks, though, like obviously the Ralts, the Corellia, and Gardevoir. That line is very cool. I really like those artworks. So that's, base set, nothing too special there. Paldea Evolved, this is where things start to get a bit interesting. As you can see, if we do the year chart, Paldea Evolved has been on a tear, obviously, since release came down, hit its low in October. Well, in December, it did hit a low technically, but October, it's been building up since then, and now it's at $110. And it is selling for this basically every day, 114.98 April 24th, and then today 110 and 111.67. So Paldea Evolved is definitely making up some ground. Will it get reprinted? Who knows? I imagine it probably will. If it does, I'll be picking up more boxes. Again, just a reminder, some of the cards, you have the Magikarp, the Iono, the Chien-Pao, Raichu, etc., Tyranitar. Let's look what the Tyranitar is at. Almost $20 right now. Magikarp's actually fallen a bit. It was over 100, now it's down below $98, so that is something we should be keeping our eye on. So next up, Obsidian Flames booster boxes. These, I'm not huge on Obsidian Flames. I really don't like the set. I'm not invested in the set. Came out, it's been pretty flat since then. It did hit a low, around June, I get, or what month was that? August. End of August, early September, $92. Sitting around 100 now. I do think that Obsidian Flames probably kept a fair bit of its value just because it had a lot of playable cards. And you could see it was up to about 107. Now it's sitting around $100. So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Obsidian Flames. If we look at the cards in this set, obviously you have the Charizards up top. The main card, main chase is not even $50 right now. And then the gold Charizard EX is less than 20. Pidgeot EX, which I do believe is playable as well, a little over $10. And then you have Pidgeot EX, obviously it's a playable card. Same thing with the Charizard, I believe. Not positive though. So not a ton in this set. I understand it's a Charizard set, but I'm just not a fan. There's not a ton of depth there. Not a lot of value, so I'm sticking away from Obsidian Flames. Next up, we have Pokemon 151. So if we look at the regular ETB, this thing's been doing pretty decent, sitting at almost $60, and it is selling basically every day. 61.85, 61.84. So it's selling over $60 now. If we look at the Pokemon Center exclusive version, this one hasn't been doing as great, but again, you got to remember these come out and then they kind of find their peak, and I think long term they'll do well, but I think shorter term you're probably better off buying like the if you can find ETBs on discount and then buying them. Like, I feel like there's more gain there in the short term, but long-term investment, definitely going to be the ETBs. Now, again, if you can buy these at MSRP on the Pokemon Center when they come out, that's the way to go, and then that's definitely the best play. But buying these on the secondary market, once the set releases and you're paying over $100 a piece, I don't know. For me, it doesn't really make sense to do it at that point. But if you can buy them at MSRP when they're in stock on the Pokemon Center, that's the way to go, I think. The UPC up next. Can't really see the 1-year chart, but we can see the 3-month chart, maybe the 6-month. So it has been slowly moving up. It's about $106 almost at this point, a little less than that, and it is selling over 106 every day. So definitely a far cry from the 90s that we saw back in December. If you can get good deals on these, it might be a product you want to pick up. And then finally, we have the booster bundles, which have been losing value over time. But they actually seem to, kind of be finding a bottom right now around $40. And I know you can get these for a lot less. Current market says 38, but you look at sales here, $39, $41.49, and almost $41. So around that $40 mark, they are selling. Again, if you can find these at MSRP, maybe it's a good buy. I actually made a video talking about how I was getting rid of mine if I have the opportunity. And then in the future, if there's a 151 reprint, I'll look at buying bricks or 151 cases. So getting these loose, I'm not a massive fan. Again, if we look at the cards in 151, you have the Charizard sitting about $110. After that, you have Blastoise and Venusaur over 40. Blastoise almost $47. Then we have the Zapdos 36, Charizard 34, Charmander over 30 as well. The Alakazam is now pushing $30 as well. I love this card so much. I actually kind of want to get this in a PSA 10. If I have some spare money that I'm not putting towards investing, I might actually do that at some point. Not as an investment vehicle, just because Alakazam and Abra and Kadabra are some of my favorite Pokemon. So yeah, for that reason alone. Next up, Paradox Rift. This booster box is actually making some gains. It was around $90 for the longest time, even below in the 80s. It's now sitting around $97.50, so getting close to that $100 mark. And you can see actually today there were sales for $99.39, so really close to $100. This one at $94.40, so who knows? But yeah, getting close to 100. That's interesting to note as well. The cards we have in Paradox Rift, you have Roaring Moon over $60, Iron Hands EX, which is obviously playable, at $35, Iron Valiant at $31.59. You got to think that this might be undervalued at some point. I don't know. Groudon pushing 30 also now. I really love this card. I still think this is probably undervalued at $31. That's just my opinion. You have a legendary Pokemon that's just super badass that everyone loves. Amazing artwork as well with the volcanoes. I love it. Behind that, you have Goldengo EX. Iron Hands is playable, obviously. Altaria is over $20 as well, so that's a good sign. It's moved up a little bit. Garchomp EX, Parasol Lady, a couple other cards. There are tons of great IRs in Paradox Rift as well that aren't worth a ton of money, but you get to the end of the first page and you're still at cards worth $8.86. So I'm actually going to be looking into Paradox Rift a bit more as an investment vehicle, especially if there is a reprint. I did pick up a case at 120 Canadian, so that after tax it came out to like $92 or something like that, which for us in Canada is a pretty good price to pay. We don't have TikTok deals and everything like that, so I was happy to pick up a case at that level. Next up, we have Paldean Fates. This is the regular ETB, which is, getting crushed. I mean, that's not really surprising. It's a new ETB. If we look at the Pokemon version, again, these, were selling way too high at pre-order. They came out and they've kind of settled around $70 a piece. And you can find cases of them for around $300 or $330 or something. Like TCG players kind of a bit whack in that sense, but maybe there really is that large of a case premium. I don't know. I did order 4 ETBs of this from the Pokemon Center. They came actually kind of dented, which I was pissed about. When I make my video when I get back to Canada in a week and show you guys my inventory, I'll show you guys that. But I'm happy that I have these. This is probably, moving forward, I'm really starting to, decide that, come to the conclusion that with specialty sets, I think I'm just going to go with Pokemon Center ETBs, and then if there is reprints down the line or I find really good deals, that's when I might hop into a case of ETBs if I want to have more access to that set. And honestly, Paldean Fates is actually doing decently. Like, you have the Charizard over $100. You have the Mew EX at $85. This was actually my favorite card and kind of why I decided to buy ETBs, because I just love this card so much. It's something very unique, and obviously it's Mew, so people like Mew. The Gardevoir is very beautiful as well, over $50. The shiny Pikachu, $44. Shiny Charmander at $24, and then you have Iono in here as well, $43. Very interesting. And then you have more shinies down here. The Charmeleon, the Pidgey, all over $20, and then you keep scrolling down. End of the first page, cards are still $7.78, so not terrible. Obviously not the deepest set in the world, but, pretty decent for a specialty set. We'll see what happens to these prices. I just have a couple brought up here. So the Charizard, for one, it's obviously tanked since the beginning, but it's kind of found a bottom, it seems, over $100. The Mew, actually, surprisingly, is on the rise. This thing went down to about $74, and now it's back up to around $86. And finally, we have Temporal Forces. So obviously the booster box. I just made a video about this like a couple days ago. It's come down to around $100 right now, and it's selling at $99.99. Seems like there are a lot of boxes still out there on the market. We might go lower. I wouldn't be surprised. Cards, obviously, Iron Crown $40 now. Morty's Conviction $74. Raging Bolt up there. Walking Away, Gouging Fire. You guys know this. I just made a video a couple days ago. I am a fan of Temporal Forces. I did pre-order a case. I'm going to pick up more if there's a reprint and I can find cards in that $90 range, $90 for a box rather. So that's my plan. A lot of these sets, if you find a good enough deal, I think they're going to do well long term, guys. I mean, $100, $90, even $80 or less with TikTok or whatever you got, you can't go wrong with pretty much any of these sets. The one I just hate the most is Obsidian Flames. That's something you're probably just never going to see me own, if I'm being honest. But all the other ones, and maybe base set too. I'm not a huge fan of buying up base sets, but definitely Paldea Evolved, 151 products also. Paradox Rift, I have some, and I'm looking to get more. And you know what? Even Paldean Fates, like maybe I'll pick up ETBs if they get reprinted in their low. And then what else do we have? Temporal Forces up here also is something that I'm definitely going to be picking up more if they're reprinted or I can find good deals on them. So thank you guys for watching. Stay safe wherever you are in the world, and I'll catch you in the next one.